everybody. My name is Eric. People call me E-Rock. We are officially live here in my laundry room lounge because the Wi-Fi is better. So today I am coming to you to start my corruption live social media campaign. So the idea behind this was to begin a social media campaign for my show Corruption. No viewers yet. All right, one sec. We are going to try and get some viewers up in here. Thank you. Well, we're going to start without the viewers and basically start this. So the reason behind this social media campaign is it is a homework assignment. I'm not going to say it's not, because it is. But the idea is to build a fan base. And how we're going to do that is by opening the door. From up until this point, corruption has been behind closed doors. People have been wondering like what it is, what could it possibly be, etc., etc. But I'm here to tell you that we have officially opened the door, and I'm going to explain what the show is and tell you how you can get involved. The idea for this is to build a fan base, whether it be 25 people, 10 people, 100 people, 50 people, who knows, who cares. The point is I want to build a fan base. I want to build this show to a point where it will be good. So the way we are doing that is by doing this opening live social media campaign event where I will be talking about the show. Now the show is called Corruption, and I really want to hone in on something on this. The tagline for the show is "No one is a pawn." And that sounds convoluted and completely like, what the hell is this guy talking about, basically? Well, the point of the no pawn thing is that every character I wrote into this has a purpose, but has more than just a purpose. They have this good evil nonsense on shows where it's some people are good, some people are evil, and it's the balancing act. This one, there is no balancing act. It is everybody in the show has good, everybody has bad in them. And that is the point we are trying to make with Corruption. So the storyline for this is, imagine, if you will, peace has been achieved in the world. Now, I want you to really imagine that peace is in this world as of right now. And the only way to end it is to kill people who signed the peace treaty. So the peace treaty signed, peace has been achieved, and then all of a sudden somebody wants to end it. There's always somebody that wants to end the peace. And so in the wake of all this, a company called LottoCorp forms and hires one of my main characters, Evan Powers, to basically hunt down and kill the people that signed the World Peace Treaty. And he discovers that they are actually out to do this after he helps them track two of them down, takes a job, and he tracks two of them down, and they end up dead. Now, that's kind of upsetting to him, and so he goes on the offensive to try and stop them. And LottoCorp gets wind that he's after to stop them, so they try and kill him. And they blow up his family home, killing his mom and dad, and not being able to kill him, even though he is portrayed as dead. they find the body and they assume it's his, and he finds out they find out he's dead. So in the wake of all this, they have a funeral, and Eve and Heather kind of are sad. Eve Powers and Heather Morris are sad. Heather Morris is Evan's fiance. Eve Powers is his sister. They go back to Heather's place to look at a box full of Evan's stuff and kind of just mourn. And they discover that there is an envelope for Eve that has a flash drive that has them going to New York City to encrypt and try and figure out what it was. And they go on this adventure, and we get an interesting character thrown into the mix during this, which is Dale. Which is Caleb. Caleb then works for LottoCorp, and he tries to basically tell the CEO of Lottery Corporation, Ray, that he is dead, that Evan might not actually be dead, and that they really need to like hone in on this and stop him. So that leads to the introduction of Ray's son, Dale. And to Dale wants his dad back in his life. So convoluted, I know, kind of sucky, but Dale wants his dad back in his life, so he agrees to help his dad find Evan and kill him once and for all, which sets the tone, which kind of sets the tone for a big betrayal down the line, possible big betrayal down the line. So so the girls go to New York and they discover this, and now they're faced with the dilemma of, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sit and do nothing, or are we actually going to stop this from happening? And what they find is they have to stop from what happening, because they discover that Evan worked so hard for a couple of years before this all happened to set this all up, and he set all the wheels in motion. He put the wheel into a gear and he spun the gear. This is the most incredible thing that he did, and then they're like, well, we have to kind of go do this, because he went to great lengths to do this, to stop Lottery Corporation from doing this. Sorry. So he goes to great lengths, and so now they're faced with that, and Evan's also faced with that. And what you'll find through this is, through season 1, you find there is a focal point to the season. I'm not going to say there isn't. There is. Eve Powers and Heather Morris. Sorry, Eve Powers and Evan Powers, they're brother and sister, and we find that they are so much alike. They are so much alike that it is insanely ridiculous, because they are both leaders. They have the same mindset, and their personalities are the same, and you start to see it, and you really get to feel for the characters, and you start to get emotional. Okay, so that's the brief summary of the show. And sorry, Mom, but this show to me is the closest thing I'm going to have to a baby. And I really care about this show, and we're opening the door. I am officially done putting my show behind closed doors. Up until this point, it's just been me basically running things and writing things and working things. So kind of crazy, I know. But so what ends up happening is we will get the storyline, and what I'm trying to do is build the fan base. And the way I'm building the fan base is through Instagram. So on here right now it's backwards. My bad, I wrote it backwards. I think I wrote it back. Yeah, I really did write it backwards. maybe I wrote it forwards. It's just backwards on the screen. It's my Instagram account, Corruption Campaign. Now, people who watch this event, which right now is at 0 viewers, watch this Instagram Corruption Campaign, follow it, because over the next few weeks, I'm going to be starting kind of the campaign of fan art, concept art, etc., etc. If you have no fans, you're not going to get anywhere with this. So the idea is to build the fan base to 0, is from 0 to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And we are just trying to build the campaign. Campaign is one of the most important things is sorry. One of the points I'm trying to make. So throughout season 1, the characters will develop, and you'll get to, as of right now, I've developed 11 episodes of season 1 and a couple episodes of season 2. No big, and I haven't actually developed season 2, but I've developed like the plot points or the development of what's going into season 2. So season 1, we will hone in on the fact that this is real, and that this is a real event with real stake. There's real stakes involved. And how I'm going to do that is right away, there will be characters that are going to get killed off early on, very early on. How early, you'll have to watch them to find out. So we have Evan Powers kind of all goes behind the scenes, and is basically, Evan runs things from behind the scenes. His sister and his fiance are out to try and work this magical thing into basically work it so that they find out who's running Lotto Corp, why this is all happening, because none of them know why. And the only person that knows why is Raymond Van Dawn. And Raymond Van Dawn isn't the official big bad or the villain of the season, but he is a villain in this, or he's portrayed as a villain, but he has a rich backstory to him that is, you get why he's doing what he's doing. So you will have Evan. So I'd like to show you guys now something. This is the book. This is the book I've used so far of writing, and there's been pages and pages and pages of stuff. I've written up to about 25 pages with character developments, profiling the characters, plot points to the episodes, and we will get down to the nitty-gritty with that. So the plot points. So sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The point is that we are trying to build the fan base. And if you want to help out with building the fan base, you can. I'm not opposed to help. I will have whatever it takes. I will be willing to do whatever it takes to get the fan base started and build the fan base up. And I decided to do this live, because this live social media campaign, for that purpose of that we want to build, that I'm trying to build the fan base. The fan base needs to be built up. Sorry, I'm just trying to get people, see people are just busy. Either way, people will see this after the fact and want to watch it. So corruption is I want corruption to be a show that viewers will relate to, because it isn't a good evil situation. The situation is not black and white. There is no black, there is no white. There's not heroes and there's villains. There are just a bunch of people, some people that are trying to do the right thing, some people that are out to do the bad thing, but they all have good and evil in them. And that is really the point of Corruption and the reason why I wrote it. And I want to tell you a little story of how I developed this, because it is quite an interesting story. A few years back, I went to New York City on vacation, and I kind of came up with the idea for this kind of in a cab on the way going to the plane to go home. And what happened for that was, and this is the part of it, I took one of the the little pieces of paper you get when you go into hotels that are in the hotels. Well, this one only had one piece of paper. I didn't know that. So I took it and I went to write, and I wanted to write like all my characters and like all the plot points of the characters and stuff like that on that sheet of paper. What ended up happening was there was only one sheet. So I ended up just writing the general synopsis of like what it could be. And then I came home and I pitched it to my sister, and my sister was like, this is actually a good idea. And so I then spent the last few months developing it, where I started to take time out of my day to develop it. And I actually, so as I started to develop it, I basically applied to school here in Vancouver, and I got in and I went to school and I continued to develop it. And what I found is the response has been overwhelmingly good. People that have actually read some of the episodes have actually liked what they saw and have actually wanted to watch it and would see it. So we've shot a few proofs of concepts, and they are on my YouTube. They're on my YouTube channel, which I didn't write down for some reason. My YouTube channel is eRock Forslund, but you know that because you're watching this on my YouTube channel. So there's that. So I have shot a few proof of concepts for it, and over the next 7 weeks, there's going to be more. There will be a new proof of concept maybe each week, every now and then, but every so often I will be doing these live show Bibles, and I'm going to go into detail about my characters. And not only that, but I'm going to also go into detail on some of the episodes and kind of give you the bare essentials to what is in the episode. And I kind of want to start that process. I kind of started that process today because I explained the pilot to you. So the pilot begins right away with Evan the Powers' funeral, and you start to get there is sad because Eve Powers is crying because she has just lost her mom, her dad, her mom, her dad, her brother, and the only person she now has in her life is Heather. And we will get a flashback with Evan and Eve in there, as well as a flashback with Heather and Evan, because Heather and Evan are not brother and sister. Sorry, they just got engaged. They were engaged a week before this all happens, and now they're distraught and she's upset. So she's really up for anything. She wants to just get out of Houston, where the show takes place. But it turns out Evan's not actually dead. He's just faked it so he could help stop the war behind the scenes, and plus keep his family safe, because if the Lotto Corp finds out he's still alive, they're still going to come after him and try and kill him. If he's dead, he thinks that's the end of it, and it's not. They will try and stop them at any cost. So we start to get into that, and we get into some of the characters like Ray. We find out Ray has a son named Dale. The history behind them is kind of behind closed doors, so to speak. You don't really know the history, and you don't even know how Dale finds this out, or if Dale knew about this, why his dad doesn't know he's alive. And it'll lead into questions like that, and we will answer those questions right out of the gates. Right out of the gates with it. So that is corruption in a nutshell, and that is basically what you will be seeing. So if you want to talk about corruption, get involved with corruption, there's ways you can do it. Like I said, we have the Instagram account, Corruption Campaign. I'll put that close to the screen. Corruption Campaign. You can like my Facebook page, Eric Forsland. You can add me on Snapchat, EROCF4567. And you can follow me on Twitter at EAF502. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel and enjoy. I hope you all enjoyed this. Over the next few weeks, there will be and I'm actually going to start the process right now. Next Saturday, there will be another live event. It will be my live show Bible regarding Evan Powers. So we will go into detail about Evan Powers. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live social media campaign. The campaign has started. Please watch, please enjoy this, and watch, tell your friends, and if you want to get involved, get involved. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this.